Hey people, before the video starts, I want to take this moment to invite you over to my channel. And if you like what you see at my channel, I invite you to subscribe. And if you hit the notification button when you subscribe, you will be notified when I have new content coming out. And if you hit that button and you like what you see, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like what you see, give us a thumbs down, leave a comment, let us know what we're doing wrong. And I invite you to share your videos, and once again, subscribe. You hit that notification button, you will be notified when I have new content available. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, and there's some big changes coming up, so you'll want to hit that notification button. Some really cool stuff getting ready to happen, some changes to the channel, and I'm sure you'll want to be on board for that. So like, share, and just get on board. So with that, let's get to the video. Okay, well, today's video is about the popularity of backyard chickens. And this video, remember the name of the channel is Markisms the Way I Do It. So this is the way that I have been successful in raising happy, healthy chickens that are, for the most part, productive. So this is the way that we have raised these chickens, and it seems to work good in this environment. And I'm passing along my knowledge, and once again, it's the way I do it. So I'm gonna share this video with you. This is just an overview of our chicken coop and the way our setup is. And after this part of the video is over, I'll stop and show some specific things that you can do, things that you need to do, like these nesting boxes and these different levels of roosting poles. The nesting boxes are for the chickens to lay eggs in. Some people don't know it. If you haven't ever had chickens or been around chickens, you might not know that. I don't think in the garbage cans, that's something that is very much a necessity if you live in any area with some wildlife, because they will get into your feed. So this is a door that opens up into the back of the nesting box. Makes it easier to get the eggs. And this is the lower level of the setup that we have here. And this is the door that is opened in the summertime so that they can have fresh air at night when they're locked into the coop. And it has to be very sturdy. Nothing, you have to set that up so that nothing can get into it. And this is just an easy prop to open the doors. Coop doesn't have to have all special fittings and closures and all that on it. A piece of wood works just fine to hold it open. Now, the way we've done our coop is we've went a little different. You see we have several cameras inside. We have a light to heat it in the winter time. Some people don't provide any type of heat. We try to keep our ladies as comfortable as possible all the time. The several cameras is so that we can watch and make sure they're in the coop, because we have an automatic door that opens and closes at a set time. And this is that system. And if you leave a comment down below or send me a personal message, I can send you the link or the blueprints to this controller. This controller controls that piston. And there's some of the ladies on the roosting poles. They're normally not in the coop this time of day, but chickens don't like change, and chickens are nosy, and our chickens are friendly, so they want to be around where we're at. They try to be involved, and anytime we're back there with them, they try to be involved with us. So they're wanting to see what we're doing because they're nosy and they're wanting to be around us. So actually they're in the way. We were cleaning the box out at this time. That's why we were changing the straw. And that's the little walkway into the bottom of the coop. Once again, this is an area that can be enclosed. We have different levels of freedom, different levels of access for the chickens for different stages of their lives. You'll be raising different sets of chickens. And there's the blocks that we use to keep the cans up out of the dirt to keep them from rotting. You'll want to do that. This is another area that we have. This is the immediate area around the coop that is similar to a dog run. That's another level of access. And then we have this area here that I'm showing. This is a much larger area. We didn't always allow the chickens into this area. We had 2 chickens and we kept them inside the dog run area there. And as we got more, we wanted to allow them more space and let them roam freer and have access to more bugs. So we opened up this area and gave them much more area, led to a much happier chicken. But one thing I will say to chickens, the grass is always greener. If you give them that space, they want to go into, hey, what's over across the fence in that space? So you can never give a chicken enough room. They want to always see what is over there, and the grass is greener. That's the way they see it. So sometimes you will have a chicken that just is always getting out, and it becomes a game between you and her to figure out how to keep her in the area you want to keep her in. And I'll tell you, there's been times that I've just lost the game and given up. And as long as she came back for feed and was in at night, and I just gave up. Sometimes you'll have those that just want to go exploring. But back to the setup here. It's another look. This, you can see the area at the bottom. You'll see the road to the left. That's the fencing that will roll out and cover up the bottom of this coop, and that allows us another area to keep them in if somebody's sick, if we need to keep somebody in that bottom area, or as the little chicks get old enough, they can come down there and still be protected. And during the day, the little chicks can be outside, get in the air, and getting used to being outside, but still be protected from predators. And there's an electric heated bowl. That's something that you'll have to have if you live in climates pretty much above Florida in the wintertime. And those are steel feed pans. That's a must. Tried other things and they just didn't work, so we ended up having to use those. There's another look at one of the ladies. You'll see that they're happy and healthy, and here they come. Here comes another one she wants to visit. Our chickens are they're very happy. They are tame. Later on in the video, you'll see some of our earlier groups that were a little special to us, and they were much more tame than even this. This was a group of, I think, originally 12 chicks that we started out with. We gave half of them away pretty early. We ended up with This is one of our earlier groupings. This is when we just had 2, but that last group we ended up with just 5. One of them was a rooster, and we got rid of him, so we ended up with the 4. But here, this is one of our earlier groups when we had just 2. This is 2 that were very special to us, and they see that we're drinking Gatorade, and our chickens become accustomed to drinking Gatorade. We give it to them on really hot, stressful days when we're out visiting with them, and chickens really like Gatorade. So it becomes a treat to them, and anytime they see you with it, they will ask you for it. And this is where I was cutting the grass. We let them out into our yard when we're cutting grass. They enjoy chasing the bugs that are stirred up by the lawnmowers, and they always enjoy drinking Gatorade while they're cutting grass and eating bugs with us. So like I say, this was an earlier group when we had just 2. Here they are again. This is a video of them running to the gate every time we come out. This is what chickens will do. They will, they're very much like dogs or any other pet. They hear you pull in the driveway, they're going to run out to visit with you. And this is just a little video showing that. Now, two chickens are fine. It makes for happy chickens. They have company. They have plenty to eat. They get all the attention, so they become more tame than the larger groups. These 2 ladies are extremely tame, you'll see, and they really enjoyed being around us. They really enjoyed the attention that we gave them. And I would say 2 chickens are very doable. I would not do 1. I think that's like any other animal, like cats. They always do better with more than 1. This is one of the very tame chicks that we have. This is her name was Little Bit, and you'll see that they play games with us. Shows just how tame they are. But I would say in most backyards, there's a big movement, people having chickens in the yard. I would say you would always want at least 2. In an average size backyard, you wouldn't want to go over 3. I would say in the city, you wouldn't want to go over. That's a small enough group that everybody gets some attention. So 3 would probably be the most I would have. And these are those 2 ladies when they were young. We started them this size and handled them a couple of times a day. This was our setup at that time. The heat light is crucial at this point. And they do drink a lot. And like I say, we made sure to handle them a couple of times a day. We did that all the way up. We continued to handle them. And that way you can pick them up if there's a problem. They're not skittish. They don't run away if you have something you need to do, if you need to look at them for some reason. And they get so tame they come to the back door and ask for treats. This was her name was Little Bit. She was one of our favorites. She was a favorite laying hen, and she would knock on the door and get treats. I wouldn't encourage you to let chickens into the house. Probably never bring chickens into the house, but I just wanted to get a picture of her. She knocked on the door. At that time, she was knocking pretty much daily to get her treat. And she would be outside and come running when we pulled up in the car. At that point in her life, she was getting out every day. She had made herself a nest behind a bush in the front yard, and so we weren't able to stop her. She was determined. This was the next group. This was a larger group, and we ended up with some roosters in this group. So we kept the rooster around a while, but it becomes a problem. I don't suggest that you have roosters in your group. There's the group a little older. They love to get up high and get on the stick pile. They pretty much stay together, but like I say, I don't I don't recommend that you have roosters in the group. I don't like the way the roosters treat the hens. They're very aggressive, and you'll see here the laying box becomes popular, and you see back in the back there's actually another hen in there. They're fighting over the laying box, and this is what you can have. You know, chickens are very much like a dog or a cat. They're very intelligent. No matter what you think, they're very intelligent. We have cameras in our setup that allows us to check on them at any time, anywhere. We've been on vacation and checked on them before. You're going to need a light for heat when they're young, and we use a light in the wintertime. Now, other people don't do that. We do. And this is the controller, and I can send you that information if you give me a message. That is the actual actuator that opens and closes the door, and this becomes really, it was really important to us, and that's actually where it connects to the door, because you should always get up every morning. There's the two ladies, and that's showing the bottom of the pen, so that at that development stage in their development, we kept them so that they couldn't get out from underneath the coop. They also still needed protection from us from predators. We do have hawks in the area, so if you have predators in the area, you want to make sure that you provide for that. You want to make sure that you provide the protection to the hens. And this picture is showing the different levels of the roosting poles. Also, when they're young, the roosting poles need to be smaller in diameter because naturally they have smaller feet. So you want to make sure that you have roosting poles that are comfortable and that they can actually roost on. We also, in the enclosed area under the coop, we also have roosting poles there so they can roost. And when they get big enough, then of course we open up the bottom and allow them into the area around the coop. Now initially we didn't offer the large area around the barn to the hens. As the flock got bigger, we decided to open that area up, and that just made for much happier hens. They really liked that bigger area, and they were much more active and seemed much more pleasant at that point. And back to the automation in the system in the coop, that's not something that everybody does. I don't know anybody that does it, but we feel that it offers us more flexibility. What I was getting to earlier was you should get up every day and open the coop up and greet the ladies and feed them. That way you're interacting with them every day, you're looking at them every day, because things are going to happen. They're going to get hurt, they're going to get, sometimes a predator may get them. I have actually ran possums and raccoons out of the coop at night, around midnight. So that's when we put the automated door in, when we had the predators coming in at night. So although we go out and check on them a couple of times during the day if we can, we always close the pen down and put the food inside the coop, because that will attract predators if you leave it out. We put the food inside the coop and check on everyone at that point. But you can't always do that, and you can't be out there exactly the same time every night. Now I encourage you to make it around the same time every night. It works out better that way. They put themselves up at the same time every night if you do that. But if by adding the automation, if you go on vacation, if you take a weekend out of town, or if somebody gets sick and just can't do it, then you know that at that time every night, the time that you set the door, that door will close and that coop will be closed off to the outside. And then you can, with the cameras, you can log on from anywhere in the world and check on your flock right there on your phone. We actually have been in Las Vegas and one time in the middle of the desert and checked on our coop and actually had an issue, and we called somebody to go over in the middle of the night and check on them and correct the situation. So if we hadn't have done that, we would have probably had some dead hens. So, you know, they're like pets, they're like dogs or cats. You don't want harm to come to them. And if you take on the responsibility of keeping them, you should make sure that you keep them safe. That's your responsibility, to make sure that you provide for them and provide shelter and food for them. So having chickens it's a fun thing. I really enjoy it. You have to be willing to be tied down to them somewhat. Once you have a flock in your backyard, if you don't have somebody that can come feed them every night and check in on them while you're gone, if you go on vacation, you know you're going to have issues, and you have to be dedicated to a routine that is morning, noon, and night, basically. And the eggs that you get in return, it is approximately an egg a day per hen if you keep them happy, but they get stressed easy and they will quit laying. You can't do this just for the eggs. It's not going to work out. It doesn't pay off. You can go buy a dozen eggs at Walmart and you will save a lot of money if you're doing it for the eggs. But the eggs are just a benefit. And if you enjoy having them and keeping them and enjoy their watching them, they're very fun to watch. Their movements and they're silly. They're fun to watch. But if you're doing it for eggs, it's not going to pay off. And before jumping into keeping a flock, know that you're going to be tied down to them. And back to the rooster, if you have a lot of predators in the area and they can't get away, or you're not going to be around regularly to make sure that predators are not an issue, then keeping a rooster around is certainly a good thing. The rooster always kept an eye out on them. He always made sure if anything came in the area, he ran them off. He did his job. But I don't like the physicality of the rooster in the flock. They're really rough on the hens. They bite them pretty hard. They throw them around. I don't like the violence. That's not why I want to have hens around. I don't want to watch that. So, and especially if you have a family that's going to be enjoying the hens, I would suggest not having a rooster. And the last thing that I would want to add is you have to remember that we know that a lot of diseases are brought into our lives by close proximity and keeping hens in the backyard. There's another look at our cameras. So you have to make sure that you keep good hygiene and Make sure that you don't bring anything into the house. Always take your shoes off. Leave them outside if possible. If not, make them stay in one specific area immediately inside the house. Other than that, you want to make sure that you clean your hands. And studies have shown that a lot of the transfer and the problem is when people bring the eggs in, either the act of getting the eggs, retrieving the eggs, or washing the eggs. That's when disease is spread. The studies that I've read say that with children it can be from handling and not cleaning their hands properly when they come back into the house. And with adults, it's the action of cleaning the eggs and retrieving the eggs. So you have to be vigilant on good hygiene if you're going to have a flock in the backyard. This is how some devastating diseases have been brought into our lives, is close proximity and living close to birds. So you want to make sure, and if you're not going to be able to keep good hygiene, and you're not going to be able to have the children keep good hygiene, then keeping any type of bird is not suggested. Other than that, chickens are a lot of fun. I enjoy having them around. They fill up empty spots in my time, and I enjoy watching them, and I enjoy watching them grow. And they're not too expensive. Initially, you can have someone, have a carpenter or someone build a coop for you, or you can buy a pre-made kit at one of the farm centers. There's some pretty neat things. They're pretty neat to look at, and easy to maintain. And other than that, food, if you don't have a large enough area, you will need to supplement their food a little bit. I give mine mealworms, and I give them scratch, which are grains and corn. You throw it out on the ground, and that gives the chickens that tends to their natural instinct to scratch around and look for food. And you throw it out in the grass, and they scratch around for it. So, but if you don't have enough room, they will eat more feed. Keeping 5 now, I go through a bag, a 50-pound bag, in about 2 months. So they're not terribly expensive to keep, and the initial investment is not that expensive. So all in all, I think chickens are fun to have around. They're not very expensive, and the benefits are the fun times you have watching them, the interaction with them, the love they give back. They do, believe it or not, a chicken gives back love, and the eggs. The eggs are a benefit. So with that, we're going to wrap this video up. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button, and you'll be notified when my next video comes out. There's going to be some big changes coming up to the channel. Some big changes are happening in my life, and I'll announce those on my next video and tell you the direction that the channel is going to go. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to really grow the subscriber base, because I think people are going to be interested in what is going to go on. So I'm still going to be doing the things that I have been, but there's some things in my life that are changing, and they're really going to add a different dimension. So like, share, and subscribe. And remember, it may not be the way everybody else does it, but it's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.